Hey Rangers, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Evox Unleashed, which is number 22 of Beast Morphers. So for the last time, there are spoilers in this video, 100% spoilers. This, I have to admit, someone commented on one of my videos and mentioned a bit about it being on the Pop app. So I decided to check it out. Boom! It's right there. So we're going to be going through it and kind of talking about it. This whole episode, I have got to admit, it finishes off perfectly. It finishes off the way that I would want, the way that a Power Rangers ending should happen. Now, I'm annoyed. I am one thing that I'm annoyed, which I'll explain near the end, that I thought was going to happen, but it didn't, because it felt like it was leading up to it. So yeah, okay. The episode starts with Roxy and everyone evacuating everyone from the city. And I kind of like this, even though I feel like there's not many people who live in Coral Harbor. But everyone just seems to be evacuating. Everyone just seems to be getting away from the towers because Evox has taken over and is controlling it and pumping all the energy and all the Morphex into Tower 1, which is near the Beast, near Grid Battle Force. And I really like this. And there are some really heart-filled moments in this. Number one is the fact that Zoe reveals that she is the Yellow Ranger to her mother after her mum turns around and says, hey, you know, my daughter works in laundry. Can I have her? Can we escape together? Please let my daughter go. And the commander goes, no, I'm not letting it. She's very important. But when Zoe's mum's like, really, laundry is that important? You know, the commander looks over to Zoe and just nods. And that's when Zoe takes off her helmet and goes, I'm the Yellow Ranger. And I literally saw this and went, oh, this is a heartfelt moment, because it felt like, even though Zoe's mum was proud of her for what she's done, it felt like another moment where it's like, oh my God, you've done so much and yet no one knows, you know, this is just amazing. Now, Devon has come up with this really good plan. Everyone seems to be on board. They're getting everything ready. They've got the code to fire into Evox or Venjix and just kind of like get rid of him. And Devon has this amazing plan, and I was just like, holy crap. So when everyone starts facing off against Venjix, boom, they teleport in old weapons, you know, the weapons that we'd seen exactly in the vault. And I was like, that's a really good plan. And even when Devon says, like, you know, no, it's Venjix, he turns around and says, like, wait, they're not Grid Battle Force weapons. And Devon goes, yeah, because these are the legendary weapons, which he didn't use or didn't get any information from. And I generally thought, do you know what, that's really sneaky. That's a really good plan. And it's really nice seeing all these weapons again. So we get the Ninja Steel Super Blaster, the Dino Saber, the Delta Enforcer, the Cloud Hatchet, and the Thermo Blaster. Had to cut all that up because I couldn't remember all the names. And I just love this, using, again, in the very last episode, weapons that have been used in the past, that have possibly been used at the very end of a season. And it just felt natural, and I've not felt this in such a long time. We get a fight scene after Evox gets completely blasted by all these weapons, and I love this. This felt, again, like an all-American footage, not like switching to Super Sentai so quickly. So it was really kind of nice to see. And also, like, looking at like the monitor at the moment where it says like MorphX Tower 1 authorized personnel, it's seeing something like this is awesome. It feels more natural of what I think the series should be. In the end, Evox does turn around and he brings in monsters or Robotrons from the past, and obviously they deal with the Rangers. Now Evox does get into the tower, and this is the moment. This has been everything that's been building up in the series for him to actually get there, and that's what I absolutely loved. This just, to me, felt very like a plan has started and it's finished. And just as he gets in the tower, he pushes in, he starts absorbing the morphing grid. And you know, one thing is that Steel decides to kind of go for it. Now, this made me go, oh, So when Steel, he sees the arrow, he jumps in, he runs in, and he literally stabs Evox straight in the back with the arrow. The other Rangers have at this time defeated all the Robotrons, and they're going in. Like even like Nate, he takes his helmet off and he's worried and he just runs, and just seeing that love, that passion that he has for Steel, just cheesing it in there. And then everyone kind of sees it. They've taken their helmets off, and it's really cool just to see like no helmets on the Rangers. That's something that I kind of missed, that you always saw at a peak time, or you saw at like the very end, where you know it was business. And it was nice seeing the Rangers, you know, the actual Rangers in the suits rather than like the stuntmen and women. So literally Steel dies, like for now anyway. Wouldn't be Power Rangers. But he gets blasted by Evox, and just the way that he says goodbye, brother, feels. Steel, you got me in the feels. And he just literally just disappears and goes into the morphing grid. And now I know in Go Buster, I think in the other way, it's the Gold Ranger, he disappears, he dies. And just in this, just seeing it, like seeing Nate go, no, and getting angry, but having to be held back, and you know, they have to go back to the base. Evox just literally blasts them out the tower and goes, nope, goodbye. And they have to kind of group back at Grid Battle Force. And I think one thing that I have never seen in Power Rangers is that Devon, he turns around and has to make a massive announcement to the entire like Grid Battle Force, and says like, you know, the Rangers went out as 5, we came back as 4. Steel, unfortunately, is gone. And effectively, you know that Devon didn't have to do this. He just didn't, but he did. And that to me, I felt was a thing where I've never really seen a Ranger do that at all in any of the seasons. And that to me was just, it was a nice kind of touch, where everyone has been told to get out of here. And you know, Devon decides to say like the Rangers are staying, and then everyone decides to stay. That to me was very emotional, and it was a very nice touch. In this, at the very kind of end, the Zord that we saw in the Russian trailer, or the giant Giga drone, whatever you want to call it, that is pretty much the end game. That is the bad guy, so we've already seen it, and I'm very surprised on this one. So the Rangers literally get beaten really quickly, because this is bigger than anything, bigger than the Ultra Zord. No attacks kind of work until the Rangers figure out that human DNA is the way to kind of do this, to defeat the Ranger, to Vengex. Damn, it's so weird saying Vengex. I want to say Evox. But all of this has been done. All of it has been like destroyed. They literally also, because they never really show this, they show like the Robotron or Vengex being impaled. Like you never see impalement in Rangers at all. You've seen it maybe once or twice, but the Rangers use their human DNA to put it into the weapon, and they just basically defeat Vengex quite quick-ish. Now I generally kind of thought that this would stay on a little bit more, like the Zords would get absolutely wailed. I think the Ultra Zord does, so they have to make like the Beast X King Zord, and that kind of works, and then obviously that's how they beat Vengex. Now it kind of comes to wrapping it up, and I like the way that they spent a bit of time and not just doing like, yeah, we've defeated Evox and we've defeated Vengex and that's it, you know, it's all over. After the kind of fallout, we see the Rangers kind of looking around the wreckage, and they see the Morph X returning back to the morphing grid, which, you know, that's how I could see it. And then all of a sudden you see Steel being kind of like reborn, but the morphing grid turns him into a human. And I generally thought like all this way they would have had like, he was going to be a little bit older, his human form, but it's roughly probably the same age of Nate. And all they've done is they've taken the voice and they've literally just kind of like made it higher so it kind of would suit like a boy or something like that. I generally thought that they would have got the kid to kind of say it, but it's just Steel. It's just very, very weird. Like I couldn't see it happen all the time, but for this last 5 minutes, I could understand. It then switches to like 1 year later. They found Scruzzle, who's hiding in the sewers of Corinth, which I found funny. And escorting him in is Ben and Betty, but then also Colonel Truman in there as well. and I didn't realize he was going to be in the series. Someone who had posted, I think previously, or tweeted at me, either posted on the video or they mentioned it in a tweet saying that he was going to make a cameo, and I'd never heard of this one. So seeing him there was really kind of cool. You know, I think that was a really kind of nice touch and a great way of bringing RPM back into it. Everything has kind of changed. We've got Devon, who is the commander of Grid Battle Force now, and I was just like, oh, that's really cool. We have Zoe and Nate kind of talking about new energy, so they're not using MorphX anymore. They're just going straight in for, was it like for wind and solar and using like that. Ravi is painting Roxy, and I literally, when I saw the scene, I was like, oh, he's painting her like one of the French girls. If you've seen Titanic, that reference you know. And also his mum is actually painting, and it's nice seeing her kind of relax more, not in a, you know, kind of a stressed state that we've seen. Steele is working on a film set, and then all of a sudden we see Blaze, and he is working on as a stunt double, and that threw me, that really did. At the very end of this, everyone has been called in for a secret operation, there we go. And it's basically Steele's birthday. And he's 1 year old, obviously since it's been 1 year later since he's been human, and they all start dancing to the song that they sang, which is really weird as a way off. I knew there was gonna be some sort of dance thing that was going to happen, but this one I didn't expect, and we just come to a close and it just fades out and that's it. And I really like that. I like the conclusion. I think that if it had gone into being really out there, it would have kind of spoilt it for me, like if it was just all intense. So this is the perfect way. The one thing that I am really kind of like annoyed at is the fact that Zoe and Nate didn't kiss, because it would have been nice to have seen a proper kiss, because Tommy and Kimberly are the only ones that hold that record at the moment, but it would have been nice to kind of seen that. But in all, this episode was a nice one to end it all. I have generally really enjoyed season 2 of Beast Morphers, and it just seems to be like one of the best. I feel like the ending wrapped up perfectly, everything was fine, and everything was just hunky-dory, and that's what I generally really liked. This to me has been the best season that we've had, and I have really liked it. So Beast Morphers is now officially over. I am going to leave it there. What are your thoughts? I know this episode's out on Monday on Pop TV, but this is also on the Pop app if you want to watch it. So surprise, this is a really random episode, really random review. So yeah, I am going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as the cheeky notification bell to be notified. We'll review Dino Fury when that pops up. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.